What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Fellowship. My name's Kyle. Hope you guys are all having a fantastic weekend. We have so much to get into. We're going to be doing a Yahoo mock draft here. This is going to be from the first overall pick in a 12-team half PPR, just kind of like a standard Yahoo settings. And then this is going to be my last request video. This one did come in from High Low. He asked, are you able to do a Yahoo mock draft pick number one QB, two receiver, two running back, one tight end, one flex, defense, yada, yada, yada. So half PPR 12 team. He's drafting in 4 days, so we're going to try and help him out. If you guys need a mock draft, I've done as many mocks as I can all summer. I've been trying to do them almost every other day lately. So if I didn't get to your mock, try and find something that gets it close, even if it's in the same format. May not be the same pick, but I do have a mock draft playlist that should be able to help you out. So check that out. And then otherwise, we have as I record this, it's Sunday morning. I only have Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday to get videos out. So I think what I'm going to do for the rest of the week here, I think Monday night we're gonna just do a hangout, and I'll kind of just go over some players that I'm targeting and things like that. Maybe some player news, stuff like that. I think Tuesday night I'm gonna put out a nice video that gets you guys prepped for your Labor Day weekend drafts, where I just kind of look at everybody's depth chart and just say, I like this, target these, target this, avoid that. So I think that's planned for Tuesday, and then Wednesday night will be my last live streaming mock draft. We're gonna do that at 6 p.m. Central Time, ESPN Live mock draft if you want to join us. But anyways, I think when you have the number one pick here in a half PPR league, you could maybe argue Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. I really like Jamar Chase a lot. I think the easy thing to do here is just go with Justin Jefferson. I'm not looking at CMC or Eckler, but we're probably going to see what running backs come back to us at the 2-3 turn. But I think for now, Justin Jefferson he's the easy default pick right now. He's probably going to lead the league in receiving yards. We want more touchdowns out of JJ. That's the one thing. I think Jamar Chase gets more touchdowns, but otherwise their targets, receptions, and yards might be very similar. So, but yeah, when you get the number one overall pick, it's probably Justin Jefferson for me. Let me see if we can remove this. We'll go to the draft board here for you guys. When I'm picking two in a half PPR league, I think I'm still taking Jamar Chase. And then after that, at 3 and 4, I think you're looking for CMC, you're looking for Austin Eckler. I think those are the clear top 4 picks for me. After 4, that's where it gets interesting. I'm not sure who they have ranked as their 5th best player. It looks like Eckler and CMC should go. But after those two, you got Tyreek, you got Kupp, you got Kelsey, you got Diggs, you got Bijan. I think the decision for me is I'm going Tyreek, Kupp, Kelsey in that order. So I think I would follow ADP here. I don't click on Travis Kelsey a lot in the first round, but I understand it. I do think Bijan Robinson's probably a first-round pick in a 12-team half PPR league. Nick Chubb should probably also be on the list. And honestly, Tony Pollard and Saquon Barkley, these guys, I think there's legit maybe 6 running backs that should be in the first round here. And now that Josh Jacobs is back, you can maybe argue that Jacobs should be in the mix for a first-round pick. He's just going to have to get acclimated to the new team with Jimmy Garoppolo, but he should be just fine. Maybe week 1 he doesn't get 20 carries or anything like that, but he should be able to kind of ease his way right back in. So you see Nick Chubb goes here at 5th. I mean, if you want to take Nick Chubb there, if you want to take Bijan Robinson there, I totally don't hate it. I think running backs get pushed up in half PPR boards, and I don't really quite understand why the Yahoo rankings are a little bit better. Let's go to my, I'm going to go to my flex tab here on my projections, and I'm going to filter by half PPR. And you can see here, I got 7 running backs in my top 12 picks for my projections in a half PPR format. So these are the guys that I would project for the first round here. I don't have Kelsey in there, which is interesting, but essentially what I'm saying is if you can get CMC, Eckler, Chubb, Pollard, Bijan, Henry, Jacobs, or Barkley, those are the first round running backs that I'm looking into. And my bad, we actually have 8 running backs in the first 12 picks in my half PPR projection. So ideally you get one of those running backs. If not, I don't know if we're going to be able to get the running back to fall to us at 212. So I'm probably going to run it towards a 0 running back build if I'm drafting here, because you can kind of see there's I have a huge drop off. If I can get any of these wide receivers, I'm going to do it. I got Jahmyr Gibbs, Aaron Jones, Dameon Pierce, David Montgomery, J.K. Dobbins. I have a lot of those guys in the next window here. But in the second round, I'm looking for wide receivers here. And I was doing some digging in the Athletic, which I mean, the Athletic is so nice. They have all the beat reporters and stuff like that, but they also have some decent fantasy stuff that they put out. And the article that I was reading last night said that running backs in the second and third round traditionally, like they have like almost like a 25% bust rate, and they also average about 40 points less on the season than wide receivers. So for me, I really like the wide receivers at the 2-3 turn. Second and third round wide receivers do look pretty nice. It looks like we have maybe one more running back left here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the top 8 running backs are all gone. I think when you're picking in the number 1 spot and you take Justin Jefferson, you're probably not going to take a running back at the 2-3 turn because we're probably not going to like what we're looking at. Jahmyr Gibbs just went at 2.8. So you got Barkley, A.J. Brown, Amon-Ra, Garrett Wilson, Josh Jacobs, Jalen Hurts, Derrick Henry, Jahmyr Gibbs, Devontae Adams were coming up to pick here. You got Waddle, Taylor, Devonta, Olave, Etienne, Higgins, Mixon, Aaron Jones. I do like these guys quite a bit. And if I filter by flex here, I just want to filter by fantasy points. Like they have Breece Hall, Jonathan Taylor, Etienne. I'm not super in love with these running backs here. Breece Hall, he's coming off an injury. Jonathan Taylor, don't know what's going on with him. I do like Etienne. I don't know if he's worth that ADP spot there. But Jalen Waddle should be very, very popular pick at this turn. Devontae Adams, Devonta Smith. And let's go ahead and just get all the players in here and just look at that ADP. So they got Pat Mahomes falling. I don't know what this X rank is. In theory, we should take Jalen Waddle. Jalen Waddle does just go now. So we missed out on Devonta Smith, Jalen Waddle. For me, Olave sticks out as one of the best picks that I think we're going to make here. If you wanted to take ETN, I think I'm cool with it. For sure, at this 2-3 turn, I think you have to collect Olave. Now, if you want a QB, you're looking at Mahomes, you're looking at Josh Allen. I don't hate it because, one, you're getting the number 1 wide receiver, and you're also getting the number 1 quarterback with Mahomes or Allen if you think he is. I don't hate that idea. That's locking in a ton of points. I think at this point, I mean, we got 2 stud receivers, Justin Jefferson and Chris Olave. 10 seconds to do the job. You know what? I'm gonna wait on QB here. I'm gonna grab T. Higgins. I didn't talk about T. Higgins much, but when I go look at my roster tab now, I got JJ at the 1, I got Olave at the 2, and I think Olave could be a top 12 wide receiver this year. I actually have him ranked in the top 24, but I went with T. Higgins because I locked him in at my flex. I think T. Higgins gives me some flex power there. T. Higgins might be better than most people's starting flex. So like we'll see what happens here, but there's only a couple of teams that are running that flex option. So Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, if he took another receiver, that would have been in his flex. Chubb, Jahmyr Gibbs, and if you were to take another running back, that would have been in his flex. So right now we just put probably the best player in our flex. So we already locked in the number 1 receiver. I think we're going to have the best wide receiver. Like we have one of the best wide receiver 2s. I feel really good about that. And then T. Higgins is giving us an advantage at our flex spot. And then we're just gonna go running back hunting, guys. If the 0 RB build makes you nervous, I'm not clicking Jonathan Taylor here. There's just too many questions. He's got ankle injuries. I'm super concerned about the juju here with Jonathan Taylor. Joe Mixon, ETN, that feels just a little bit too high for me to grab these guys here. You can maybe argue Joe Mixon, ETN if that makes you more comfortable. Go ahead and do it over T. Higgins. Pat Mahomes falls all the way to 3.8, which is very interesting. Ramondre Stevenson, 3.9. And yeah, I don't know what's going to happen at the 4-5 turn. I'm hoping. I mean, there's a lot of running backs off the board, more than I'm used to. And most of the drafts I do is full PPR. But in a half PPR, that it does open up some running backs for me that I like, that I just know are going to get carries, and they're probably going to be goal line backs. So we'll see. End of the 4th round here is Mark Andrews, Aaron Jones, DK Metcalf. Josh Allen falling all the way to the 4th round. That's a really good spot there. Dameon Pierce, one of my favorite running backs to grab. Aaron Jones and Dameon Pierce, that's a really nice tandem. So as we're moving into the 4th round here, obviously I'd love to get a running back or 2 if I can. I'm not afraid to take another really good wide receiver. But ideally here, I'm very open to the idea of quarterback, tight end, running back. Those are the three positions we need. We'll assess them in just a moment here. Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper, Kenneth Walker off the board. So the quarterbacks are falling in this one. We might be able to get a decent, like, if we're able to get Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, I think that's definitely in play. We're attaching ourselves to some pretty dang good offenses by doing that. So I think there goes Lamar Jackson. I would have been we would have just, if Lamar Jackson falls to you here at 4.12, I think I'm definitely interested in that value. Well, let's start to look at, we got 4 picks to go before we go. Dobbins is the best running back available. Miles Sanders, I'm not really crazy about. I'm going to go by fantasy points here. They're saying James Conner, Javonte Williams, J.K. Dobbins, Jerry Jeudy, Brandon Ayuk. I love Mike Williams. Looks like the running backs do drop off. Wow. What's this ADP here? So Dobbins, Sanders, Akers, Connor, Madison, Pacheco, Dalvin Cook, Javonte, David Montgomery. These guys are all pretty low in their rankings, which I'm not sure why. I think we might just wait on running back here, man. I might continue to take a receiver. We can look at tight end. We can look at quarterback. I don't know if I love that. I like J.K. Dobbins. He might be the one guy we pull here. And Dobbins in a half PPR. Oh, Dobbins does go half PPR. That would have been the spot to grab him. But we'll go back to all players here. Fields, Burrow, Herbert are the top ranked players here. We'll go by ADP. Hawkinson, Burrow, Fields, Sanders, Cam Akers, Herbert, Dallas Goedert is up here as well. Did Darren Waller go? George Kittle on the board here. I'm going to grab my favorite quarterback here. I'm going to put Justin Herbert in the lineup. And man, we're kind of going ugly running back here. Sanders, I'm not in love with Sanders, Akers, Connor. I think we can build out a running back list later. Tight ends, they're way too low on Darren Waller, guys. I think he's going to be very electric this year. So I'm going to make Darren Waller my pick. And at the moment right now, we do not have any running backs. We have Justin Herbert, so we got a piece of the Chargers. We got a piece of the Vikings with JJ. We got Chris Olave, the best player to have on the Saints. And we got Darren Waller, maybe the best valued tight end, I think, this year. If you want him, you have to look at him in the 5th round. Basically, what I've been telling people is if you can't get Waller, go ahead and get Dallas Goedert. Those are the 2 guys I'm looking for. So for us, with this draft so far, 0 running back, it might be a little bit scary, but I'm okay going into the season with knowing at least one of my positions is weaker than the other. We're strong at QB, we're strong at receiver, we're strong at tight end. So we feel good about those positions. Now, what this allows us to do is we're going to probably add another receiver. We're probably going to add at least 2 more receivers, but we're just going to pound running backs for the rest of the draft here. And by doing this, it's going to allow us to increase our hit rates on some sleepers, because most people have 1 or 2 running backs already by now, and they're not taking as many sleeper running backs as we are. So we're getting a greater chance at hitting on one of these guys. And essentially, we just need to find some guys to start for the first couple weeks, and things will figure themselves out. So at this point, we're going 0 running back. We're going to collect some dudes, and we're probably going to end up drafting like 6 running backs, I think, in this. We have 2 starters to draft yet, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 6 bench spots. So we're probably going to fill 6 of those bench spots with at least 4 running backs. I think 2 receivers should be enough. So we have a total of 5, but we'll see how it looks. And after I take Darren Waller in the 5th round, you see Tyler Lockett, TJ Hawkinson, Terry McLaurin, Justin Fields, DeAndre Hopkins, Drake London, a nice little running back run here. Miles Sanders, Madison, James Cook, Deontay Johnson in the 5th round here. I like that. Cam Akers, Brandon Ayuk, Joe Burrow, James Conner finally falling to you. Now, because we're going 0 running back, I need to identify David Montgomery as my favorite half PPR running back to draft. I think Brian Robinson is also one of my favorite half PPR running backs to draft. We could grab Javonte Williams. We could grab Isaiah Pacheco. Like, I'm looking at this list and I'm like, there's a lot of guys I like on this list, whether it's AJ Dillon, Rashad White, Alvin Kamara. Like, this is not bad. By waiting for running back here, We're going to try and get as many of these guys as we can. We're going to figure it out. Khalil Herbert's one of those guys. Jamal Williams is one of those guys. We'll see what we can do here. But hopefully these guys all start to pivot, stay away from our running backs. See, there goes Dallas Goedert. So if you miss on Darren Waller, you know you're going to have to take Dallas Goedert in the 6th round. I wouldn't be opposed to a late 5th round pick. Mike Williams is one of the best 5th round half PPR picks you can make. Feel pretty excited about that pick. Quarterbacks are probably going to cool off for a little bit here. So if you didn't want to take Justin Herbert here, you know, you could have maybe taken another wide receiver. I didn't see anyone that stuck out. I would have loved Mike Williams if he came back to us. But for now, I feel pretty good about the decisions we've made. We missed on David Montgomery, so that one hurts a little bit. I can't reach for him in the 5th round. So hopefully he can fall to us in the 6th, 7th turn. And yeah, it's such a long wait in between picks here when you have the corner spot. But we got 3 picks to go before we go. The value of the board says Pitts, San Francisco defense, Jerry Jeudy. But to be honest with you, I mean, if we can grab Isaiah Pacheco, I feel pretty good about that. Let's go ahead and look at the flex, and I'm going to just filter by fantasy points. They're saying Javonte Williams projected the most points. They got him going for 1,000 yards. Don't know if I agree with it, but you know what? We need running backs. I'm going to take them. I usually don't like taking running backs that have injuries, but we're going to grab Javonte Williams. I just want to make sure I'm doing my due diligence here, filtering by all players. Let's look at that ADP here. I don't know why they have San Francisco so high. It's probably Pacheco. And then we're going to come back to running back later here. So we grabbed 2 guys that we're going to start week 1. They're both on pretty good teams. Well, Pacheco's on a good team. We didn't have a chief yet. So Pacheco fills our role. And to be honest with you, Pacheco looks really good in a half PPR format. PPR is where he kind of loses some of his upside. But Pacheco in a half PPR makes a ton of sense. He can be your RB2. And then with Javonte Williams, man, like I know he's a really good player. Traditionally, I do not like taking running backs coming off serious knee injuries. But everything out of Broncos camp all summer and into August training camp here, it's been very positive around Javonte Williams. Now, Javonte didn't even hit the PUP list for the Broncos to begin camp. Breece Hall just got back to practicing like last week. So he's ahead of Breece Hall. We know Javante's good. He looked good in the preseason game. He's going to be a receiving, guy for them. And he could also, mix in on first and second down goal line work. He's going to compete with Samaje Perine. But maybe week 1, I'm not super confident about starting Javonte Williams here. But I think we've built ourselves a base. Like Pacheco's locked into our starting role at RB2. Now, when we come back to our turn, I think we're going to be looking for more running backs. And essentially, we just want to build a committee where if I can plug in another guy to start over Javonte Williams week 1, great. Because I think Javonte Williams, maybe by weeks 2, 3, 4, he's going to work his way into our starting lineup. We just need to see what it looks like first. I want to see the snap counts between Samaje and Javonte. I want to see, how the carries and the targets are divided up. I think week 1, probably not starting Javonte Williams, but it's something that we can assess as the season goes on. After I take Pacheco and Javonte, you got Daniel Jones, Jerry Jeudy, Christian Kirk. I like Alvin Kamara a lot this year. Pat Freiermuth, one of the best tight end values after Goddard and Waller. Jahan Dotson, man. I think Jahan Dotson is going to be a monster this year. I don't get why I'm not super excited about Michael Pittman Jr. I think his targets are going to be pretty wild. And Christian Watson should have been a much higher draft pick in half PPR. So Jahan, Watson, those guys are absolute steals at ADP here on Yahoo. And hey, man, if you guys are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe, like the video, all that good stuff. Leave a comment. It definitely helps the channel grow. I mean, you can just say hi, leave a comment to your favorite player, someone that I missed, someone that I got, whatever you need. Just leave a comment, say hi. And I'm just super excited, man. We're so close to the NFL season. Again, if you're still watching, I basically Monday night, I'm not sure what I'm going to do for video content, but Tuesday night, I got to put out a video that basically just looks at all 32 teams. I want to tell you guys who I'm targeting, who I'm avoiding. It'll be somewhere around maybe 20 to 30 minutes. And then Wednesday night, we're still doing our ESPN Live mock draft stream at 6 p.m. Central Time. If you guys want to hang out, join our Discord. I think there should be a link in the description, but I'm not sure. Otherwise, I'll leave it in the comments. So if you guys want to join the Discord, that's where I send the invite link for the ESPN League. And then that's where I'm going to be answering questions all season long. So join our Discord. Definitely going to be a place where I'm going to be answering a lot of questions. But we're moving and grooving here into the 8th round now. We got some defenses coming off the board. George Pickens is a great 8th round pick. Khalil Herbert, yes. DeAndre Swift, I'm okay with this late. A.J. Dillon's a great half PPR player. And we just need some of these running backs to fall to us. I really don't care who it is. I would have collected Charbonnet. Hopefully these guys, hopefully they all have 2 running backs, so we might get burned by these guys here. But either way, there's going to be guys that we like. I'm going to filter by flex because we're not interested in QB. We're not interested in kicker or defense. Now, I'm looking at my guys here. B-Rob, Jamal, Antonio Gibson, and Samaje Perine are all available. Looks like we just got sniped on somebody. Who did we get hit on? It's our turn to draft. Who did we miss? We missed Jamal Williams, Gabe Davis, Buffalo defense. Okay, so we're going to grab Brian Robinson, who is ranked player 100. That's good value here. He might be our starter week 1 because they're going to play the Arizona Cardinals. I could come right back and grab Antonio Gibson, who I'm actually very excited about as well. I do like Samaje Perine. The receivers do not really stick out to me here, so I'm glad we grabbed our top 3 guys. We'll come back to some wide receiver sleepers here, but I think when I'm going to grab both Washington Commanders backs. Now, the way that I would play the Commanders backs is any game that the Commanders are projected to win, I'm going to play Brian Robinson. Any game the Commanders are projected to lose, I'm going to play Antonio Gibson, because losing means they're going to probably pass the ball more, which means Gibson should be on the field more. So say the Commanders win 6-7 games this year, you know, whatever game feels good for the Commanders to win, I'm going to play Brian Robinson because they're going to be able to control the line of scrimmage. They're going to be able to run the ball and run the ball effectively in the 4th quarter. So either way, it's looking pretty good. We now have Brian Robinson, Antonio Gibson, Isaiah Pacheco, and Javonte Williams. Not a bad 4 group here. We'll reevaluate the running backs when it comes back around. We do need to start grabbing some wide receivers. Because we only have JJ, Olave, and T. Higgins. So let's go through some of my favorite sleeper wide receivers right now. Marquise Brown's falling. Addison just went. I don't mind Brandon Cooks. I like Treylon Burks. Elijah Moore is fine. We love Zay Flowers. We like Cortland Sutton this year. We like Sky Moore. Rashad Bateman's not a bad half PPR play. When we get further down the list, Romeo Doubs intrigues me. Adam Thielen might be all right. Zay Jones, good piece of the Jags offense. Nico Collins, Jacoby Myers. Really? Do they not have... I'm looking for the Broncos rookie Marvin Mims. He doesn't even have an ADP, so I guess we'll go by rank here. Yeah, let me filter this by ranking. Marvin Mims is one of the elite late-round receivers to draft. I also think Donovan Peoples-Jones in a half PPR league looks pretty good. So does rookie Jaden Reed, Jonathan Mingo. Like, if you can get one rookie on your team between Reed, Mims, and Mingo, I think all these guys could have really nice second halves of the season. So we're just going to throw some of these guys on the end of our bench and kind of see what happens. Let's go back to the draft board, though, and just see what's happening here. Looks like a wide receiver run is started here. A couple kickers coming off the board. Zeke, JSN, Jordan Addison, Cortland Sutton, Marquise Brown, and Sky Moore off the board. So luckily for us, like, we have our 3 wide receivers set. JJ, Olave, Higgins. We only need a couple rotational bench pieces, some guys with some high upside. Players that we would probably only start during bye weeks, but like I said, there's a lot of guys that we have left on our list that I feel good about. But I feel like this is going to be a good team. 0 running back is not that difficult, man. As long as your top 4, 5, 6 picks hit, the running backs we're going to be able to scrounge up. And to be honest with you, running back is the easiest position to grab a starter at some point during the season. Receivers you can get relatively easy, but by like week 8, 9, 10, we're looking at some really strange running backs off the waiver wire that could just take over for an injury, or someone else emerges that we just haven't seen yet. Running back is not a bad bet late. And honestly, with the way that we've approached the draft here, waiver wire is going to be what wins you your championship, not your draft. So make correct waiver wire moves. Hopefully you have enough pieces in your draft to get you to where you need to go. But I like what we've done so far. Beginning of the 10th round, Deshaun, Samaje Perine, Anthony Richardson, great pick. Zay Flowers, McKinnon, Penny, Rashad Bateman. 1, 2, 3, 4 picks to go before we go. I mentioned wanting to get for sure a receiver at this turn. We don't need QB. We don't need tight end. So we're looking strictly only at running backs and receivers. Let's go ahead and filter by rank. Brandon Cooks is a good piece for the Cowboys. And to be honest with you, Treylon Burks should not be here right now. The running backs are hit up pretty bad. I'm going to see if they come back to us. And we grabbed 4 good ones. So let's go ahead and grab, we're going to grab Treylon Burks here to be our number 4 receiver. After that, it does not look as appetizing. I mean, Mike Thomas, Rashee Rice, not my favorite guys. I think I'm going to go back to the running back well here. I have 3 bench spots left here. I'm going to grab my favorite bench stash, and I'm going to make sure I get him. I'm going to reach above ADP here. That's Jaylen Warren. I think Jaylen Warren's got some base roll work in his arsenal this year. Let's take a look at Jaylen Warren's numbers. So we know he's going to be on the field more this year. He's feeling pretty good. Last year as a rookie in Yahoo scoring, he averaged, 5 points per game, whatever. But down the stretch, in games where he got 6, 11 carries, 11, 12, 6, he's going to be in between that range, 6 to 10 carries per game. He's going to be catching at least 1 to 2, if not 3 passes per game. The trick with him is if he finds the end zone, that's going to look pretty nice here. He did have a game where he went 12 for 76 and 3 for 22 as a receiver. But man, if there's games where he's scoring touchdowns consistently, I mean, you look at this game right here, 6 for 50 against Philly, 3 for 25 as a receiver. He can hit 9 to 10 points. If he's in an emergency play, you can feel okay about him as your RB2. And if anything happens to Najee Harris, man, we've got a guy that we're going to pull up right away as our running back too. So we ended up with 5 RBs. We have Treylon Burks as our wide receiver 4. We have 2 more picks left to make here. I need to get at least one of these rookie wide receivers. Jaden Reed, Marvin Mims, Jonathan Mingo. We need one of those guys to finish off our room. Again, we're gonna pull up Treylon Burks for bye weeks. We might not even have to, because Olave and Jefferson, we can always pull up Higgins for that, and then we can always start a running back if need to. So I think having more bullets at the running back position is probably the way to go. We have 3 really good receivers. I would like to get at least one rookie, something for the late cold months of December, and then maybe we get one more running back. I'm not drafting a backup tight end. I'm not drafting a backup QB. And I'm not reaching on a defense or kicker until my final 2 picks. That's just kind of how I play it straight up. If I can find another running back here that looks good, there's really not one. Algier and Tank Bigsby are probably worth drafting here. After that, it's a lot of junk. Kendre Miller is interesting. Roschon Johnson will be my pick, or Tajay Spears. We want to take 2 rookies here with this next 2 picks. I'm probably taking Roschon Johnson, who I think is going to be the 3rd down back for the Bears. If anything happens to Herbert or Foreman, Roschon's going to be on the field more. Actually, maybe we should just take Bigsby because I know he's the number 2. He got base work last night with the 1s. I'm probably just going to take Tank Bigsby here to put on the bench. If anything happens to ETN, we got something pretty nice. And then we're going to grab one of those rookie wide receivers that I think you need to grab. It's probably going to be – I'm probably going to end up grabbing Luke Musgrave, great pick there. I'm probably going to end up grabbing Bigsby and then those rookie wide receivers. If you have to take one, it's probably Marvin Mims. Jaden Reed's really, really good, though. If I'm going to rank him, I'm going to go Mims, Reed, Mingo. So try and grab one of these guys with your final bench spot. Should be a rookie running back and a rookie receiver. I got Tank Bigsby there. You could look at Roschon Johnson. You could look at Tajay Spears. There's a lot of really high upside picks here. So we just loaded up our team with 6 running backs and 5 wide receivers. Our quarterback is Herbert and Darren Waller. The wide receiver room, Justin Jefferson, Chris Olave, T. Higgins, Treylon Burks, and Marvin Mims. Running back room is Javonte Williams, Isaiah Pacheco, Brian Robinson, Antonio Gibson, Jalen Warren, and Tank Bigsby. I think that's enough to get it figured out. We should be okay. Some of those guys will emerge for us. And then as we get to the end of the draft here, I'm just gonna. Lately, I've been telling people I like the Lions kicker. I don't mind the Jags kicker. I typically want a kicker that's going to be indoors. Maybe Will Lutz and Cameron Dicker. For defenses, what I tell people is you want New Orleans Saints for the entire season. If you can draft one team for the entire year and just leave them in there, it's going to be New Orleans Saints. They have the easiest schedule this year in fantasy football and real life football. Otherwise, if you want a team for week 1, it's the Baltimore Ravens. They're going to play against the Houston Texans, and then the Washington Commanders are the other one because they're going to get the Arizona Cardinals at home week 1. So those are my 3 defenses that I look for. I mean, otherwise, yeah, Pittsburgh's a really good defense. I don't know where Philadelphia is on here. Maybe Philly already got grabbed. But if you can grab a top-end defense like New England's good, I think Green Bay is going to be good this year. Green Bay's actually projected pretty high here. So at this point, the draft is pretty much done. I'm going to get out of here for you guys, but this was a lot of fun. This is my last mock draft request. So thank you guys for a fun season. Yeah, if you guys want to hang out with me on Thursday or Wednesday night for our ESPN live mock, and then I will post a link to the Discord in the comments. So join the Discord, answer questions, hang out with us. We'll see you guys in a future video. Peace.